Good evening, my fellow Americans.
Do you want to hear about our end of year kind of stats?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's see how far we've come.
So we produced 222 videos this year. Last year was 247 last year.
So it was a little bit down, but...
A little bit down, but you know, the as we know, the arcade clips were much more edited than last year on account of the slobs. 156 of those 222 were Red Cow Arcade clips, and 116 of those were edited by the slobs. 26 of those videos were full episodes. We did 7 TikToks, like clips, teasers, 6 EJ reviews, 6 What's in Junt's Carts. I guessed it on 5 podcasts, sort of. Like there was the J&Z Productions, Dancing with Ghosts, Sorry If It Sucks, Okay Fine Be That Way, that's the Confused Matthew one. Boxmac was featured on the ad break questionarium for OSW. We did 4 Boxmacs. We did Junt's Cart season compilations, 2 Pewter Smiths. These are big videos. We did No Views. We did Disney World. We did the dessert contest, or will have done the dessert contest. Matt did the Vermont trip with the Eclipse with John. So where we land now is RCA has 13,190 subs. Red Cow Entertainment, the main channel, has 22,634. Here's just kind of we're going to do kind of like the investors meeting here, where I'm just going to be totally an open book about our finances. Okay. Our overall gross income, like what came in for all things Red Cow Entertainment, both channels, Patreon, etc. It looks like we won't have it fully accounted for until January when December comes in, but it looks like it's going to reach up and tap $29,000.
Wow. That's insane.
Which is up from last year, which was like what, 24,000 or something. And you'll see where specifically. So Patreon increased by 39%. Last year, 2023 was $9,102. This year's $12,645 on Patreon. So that continues to grow pretty rapidly.
That $2 tier, man.
$2 cash.
So we sold some VHSs this year, and that brought in $2,759 because we charged $30 per unit for 100. So you might say, well, how is that not 3,000? And the reason is because quite a few free copies went to various people. That's the reason. Other merch gross earnings increased by 26%. So if you completely put the VHS stuff aside, and I should say the VHS stuff didn't go, we ended up giving all of that to Levi because he was willing to do all the development and fulfillment and production and shipping and everything. It was like, and he did most of the edit on it too. And so it was just like, you know what? Like, I just want to see this thing exist. So my early agreement with him was like, how about you just make this a reality, and I'll fund it and you can keep whatever we make off of it.
Let's make a deal right here.
Just wanted it to exist in the world.
Basically. And now I know it's a success and I know people want these. So if we continue to make more in the future, then he and I will negotiate some kind of a...
It is beautiful.
I do love it. I do love them both. Other merch gross earnings. So now this would be like your digital downloads, your Blu-rays, your shirts and hats, etc. Last year we did $2,300 worth of that. This year we did $2,900 worth of that. So like our Blu-ray sales actually increased from last year. Last year was a huge Blu-ray year. This year is a bigger year for us. So we sold 145 units of Blu-rays.
Oh, wow.
This year. So that's a lot of trips to the post office for me. We sold 24 digital downloads. We sold 44 shirts and hats. And our overall earnings increased by 31%. So from last year as a result of all of this, again, gross earnings. So we spent a lot of money this year, spent a lot more money than we normally do. We spent of that 29,000, we spent all except for $8,000, of that. And so here's where it went to. Yeah, we spent $18,922 this year. And for those who are curious, we were incorporated as an LLC. And it all goes into like a business account. That's where the money is. $6,193 of that was on equipment. So that included new mics. There was like $2,700 worth of mics, a new camera, which you talked about last time, more hard drives for both of us. We always need more hard drives. Some monitors, Blu-ray writers, and batteries. Yeah. That's where all that went to. $4,600 went to producing those 100 VHSs. $2,700 of which went to Levi because that's what came in. And then the rest were for supplies, printing, editing, and assistance, basically. So yeah, to make those for a Red Cow, to make those cost $4,600 all told. But it would have been less than $2,700, which is what came in, if we had not given it all away. So we would have profited. Not very much, though, is the reality. $4,000 was spent on editors. Those 116 clips, $4,000.
Well spent too, and
I think so.
It's those clips are amazing. Our editors are amazing. It's beautiful that it's been turning into like strong collaborators and friendships, and
yeah, they're all awesome. And yeah, actually, the overall watch time is a little bit down from last year. That might be because we didn't have like any viral hits this year or anything like that. Yeah. But the Patreon is way up, and so I think you could probably make an argument that like having good clips that are coming out all the time just strengthen the core and strengthen people who want to support you. It's always interesting to hear, just today, somebody who's very active in the Discord was like, oh, the bespoke video is my first one that I ever saw. I was like, oh, wow, really? Wow. So you're brand new, because that came out like 2 weeks ago. It feels like 2
weeks ago.
Yeah, $2,100 was spent on merch-related expenses like Blu-ray inserts, cases, discs, and we did a limited run of hats as well, Box Mac hats and Navy Red Cow hats. $1,100 was on expenses for shows like food. $553 was on generic business expenses. And then finally, $410 was spent on software. So that's specifically Riverside, which is the software we use to do this, to have the high quality video call. We bought like this Ease US YouTube downloader software for some of the editors. It makes it way easier to grab YouTube videos, like way easier, because YouTube doesn't make it easy.
I got a funny story about that. Is that I tried to use the Red Cow card to pay for that, but I accidentally used my work card to pay for it. So I just paid for it with my own pocket because I was like, oops, I don't want to accidentally work expense this.
So highlights this year. So we're going to do a big stream on New Year's Eve with 15 hours worth of our favorite stuff. But yeah, we had Wrestling Mac. We had, which is probably one of my favorites of the year was the Wrestling Mac video. We did the Halloween goth thing. We did the holiday turkey. It had Jason on a bunch of stuff. I think the VHS release was a major highlight of the year. Collaborating with OSW Reviews, huge highlight. It was really an honor and really fun to be on their channel. Those hats I mentioned, that was exciting. I think so the RCA highlights when we were doing what are your favorite media for 2024. Immodestly, I was like, well, it's a shame that I can't pick Red Cow Media because I like a lot of our stuff.
Yeah.
I'm a fan. I thought our coverage of Acolyte and X-Men 97 was really fun. All of our AVGN stuff, even though it was like less viewed than normal, I thought like the Horse Prince thing, Twitter blaming James for like Trump.
And I like how the thumbnail, we use the side scrollers thumbnail where they misspell fascist.
Yes.
And people were like, hey, that's not how you spell fascist. Like, that's not our thumbnail.
Yeah, we know. Dan Olson's folding ideas thing was, of course, Zach, that's a top 5 of the year for sure. I thought like a lot of the YouTube news was interesting, like the completionist charity scandal, gaming historian quitting, Mr. Beast's employee handbook, Nikocavo Avocado's weight loss, all that stuff I thought was really fun this year. I loved Slobathon, interviewing our slobs, all the VHS stuff, no matter who's tired of it. Every time we do a VHS thing, it breathes a lot of life into me. Gloria got to join the show for the first time. A lot of coverage of Kevin Smith with the 4:30 movie and with Kilroy was here. Of course, Trey and Matt, we talked a lot about. I did a voice for a furry thing. This is bullshit.
Represent.
Strangely. There was our N64 discussion. It's just like so much shit that we did.
So many hits.
You basically did like a rash of videos about like composite modding, CRT modding, the N64 mod, the RetroPie.
Yeah, and I'm working on a video now about the Mr. Pie, which I have right here. That was one of my favorite videos that I made this year too. The RGB Pie. Yeah.
I never really talked about it in this show, but I got to lend my voice again to Cinemaster Truth's Monster Madness again in 2024 a couple times. There were some funny ones there. We opened YouTube memberships for the first time, so
get on it. It's 1 cent cheaper.
There was, the Glitch Gremlin return came out, but we haven't talked about that yet. But did you see it by any chance?
I started like the thing about AVGN. It's like I know it's like I just look at the runtime. It's like 25 minutes, and I'm like, do I really want to see him like walking across a green screen and doing whatever the fuck he's doing? No, I want to see somebody drink a bunch of laxatives and try to beat Elden Ring.
I hear you. The big news of this one was that he acknowledged his own baldness, like because he encounters the rich gremlin who's also older, and he's like, we have no hair, and he's like, hey, just because I don't have hair doesn't mean I can't review games, and that's kind of it.
We're both going bald, laddie.
Hey, I can still play video games without hair. What's your excuse?
There's a lot of fourth wall breaking in general that was like very deeply unfunny. Yeah, it was this complete green screen vomit chaos. Like, I don't even know if like I could call it good or bad. It's like, it had something in common with Doug Walker content where you're like, this would take a while to shoot and edit, but also it feels utterly unplanned and totally like a waste of time. It's weird. It's like I see effort, but not towards anything.
I miss the old days when it's just the Jersey accent coming through more and like.
So, Gloria and I binged the Christmas ones, and she was rolling. Just him laughing in Bible games about like Noah picking up like animals over the top of his head and running around with them.
Fuck, a horse, a cow, and 2 oxen? What the fucking shit?
That was the funniest fucking thing. Anyway, okay, that was the year in review.
Thank you, and good night.
Subscribe to Red Cow Entertainment on Patreon for full episodes every other week.